Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising books, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, as well as other fun, informative global cruise personalities. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests. If you hear about a cruise that interests you, book it at www.thejoyoфvacation.com or enter to win a free cruise for two. Again, www.thejoyoфvacation.com. We really appreciate your feedback, so leave us a text. Paul can't reply, but he may read your text on the air.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul, and this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast, I am delighted to welcome Presley Pfereka, a crew member for Azamara Luxury Cruise Line. I have long observed with awe and fascination cruise ship crew, from the captain to entry-level crew members, and have hosted on the Joy of Cruising podcast a cross-section of ship crew, both former as well as active, over the past years. I would love to delve into their lives in an in-depth manner, both on the home front as well as at sea. I've often noted that if I had the resources, this is a book project I would love to pursue. While I can't begin to do justice to that in an hour or so podcast episode, my discussion with Presley affords us a brief, unique look at ship life through her eyes. The variety of crew, staff, officers, and guest performers who have guested on the podcast range from child care associates to maitre d', to captains, acrobats, magicians, guest singers, and comedians from all over the world. Presley is my first guest from Zimbabwe, in the southeastern part of Africa. I first found out about Presley by way of an article I read in Condé Nast Traveler. What's It Like to Be a Waitress on a Cruise Ship by Ashley Halpern. Presley is a 37-year young lady from eastern Zimbabwe, Manicaland province. She finished high school and started working at a young age as an organizing secretary for a non-governmental organization. This was after her parents passed on. Presley has two daughters, aged 17 and 6. She moved to South Africa in search of greener pastures and worked a variety of jobs. In 2012, Presley met a fellow Zimbabwean who introduced her to open distance learning with the University of South Africa. She enrolled with the university and attained a higher certificate in business management and then registered for a Bachelor of Commerce in Business Management, which she is still pursuing. After coming across an advertisement on LinkedIn regarding cruise ship job interviews to take place in Cape Town in 2023, Presley applied as it was her wish to travel and work on cruise ships. This led to her being hired by Azamara January 2024 as assistant waitress. In November 2024, Presley got promoted to administration as a payroll purser. Welcome, Presley, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
It is great to meet you virtually. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Oh, I love that. Amazing. Great.
Yeah.
I'm just fine, thank you. So tell the listeners, we were supposed to have a conversation last week, or a couple of weeks ago. You were in Japan.
Yes.
But we had to reschedule that call. So tell me and the listeners where I'm currently speaking with you at today.
I'm currently in Zimbabwe right now for my vacation, and currently I'm in a small town called Mutare, that is in the eastern highlands of Zimbabwe. So I'm currently at my sister's place. I just went there to visit them and to take the kids for holiday.
So you are between contracts.
Yes.
Well, first of all, let me thank you for coming on the Joy of Cruising podcast. Give us some background, Presley. where you from? Where do you live now? Anything else you would like to share?
Okay. I'm from Zimbabwe, a small province called Manicaland, and that's where I was born. Also, grow up, and then at a later stage, when I finished my high school, I relocated to South Africa due to the looking for something that is much better, greener pastures, I can say. So I moved to South Africa with my child. So from then, that's when I started to go to enroll again in university because I wanted to advance my education. And then that's when I come across the job of the cruise ships. And here I am today. I am going to my third contract now with Azamara cruise ships. That's where I am. So currently I'm on vacation and I'm back home in Zimbabwe, yes.
Okay. Yeah, just curiosity question. How far is Zimbabwe from South Africa?
It's 2,600 something because I was based in Cape Town. So it's 2,600 something, yeah.
So it's
With bus, it used to take us 36 hours.
okay.
Yeah, to travel by bus. Yeah.
So quite a long way.
Yeah, it is a long way, yeah.
So in the introduction, I proudly noted that you are my first guest from Zimbabwe. Talk about that transition from a country comprised of over 99% of people of African descent to working on an international luxury cruise line.
Yeah, to me it's a big transition, and it's something also that I'm proud of, and I'm still processing. But I see the events unfolding every time because it's such a great, I can say, I don't want to call it luck, because I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I call it grace because it's quite difficult. As I listen to what my fellow Zimbabweans say and what they go through, and comparing to my story, it's something that is different. And I'm really grateful for that that I'm coming from the far end of the world, small country called Zimbabwe, and I'm working on a luxury cruise line that is going everywhere worldwide. And I'm part of the crew that is working on that cruise line. It means a lot to me.
Have you met a crew or passengers, for that matter, from Zimbabwe during your sailings?
Yeah, last year, my first contract, I met Australian couple. The husband was originally from Zimbabwe, and yeah, we talk, and the other crew members, the fellow Zimbabweans who were there on board, we came, and because our staple food is a maize meal, so he made sure when he disembarked, he organized us maize meal for us to eat, our staple food, because he understands that we have been on board for a long time and we haven't ate our staple food. So he made sure on the next port, his friend delivered the maize meal to us. So
What is it? What's it called?
it's called maize meal. It's it's like flour from the corn.
Maize meal.
Yes.
And what do you make with it?
We make something that is called stiff pap. We just mix it with boiling water.
And it's like a bread.
Yeah, it's like a bread, but it's not dry. You cannot put it in the oven. You have to eat it like soft and a little bit moist.
So now, is he in the culinary staff, or just how did he? How was he able to get that brought on the ship?
There are shops that sell Zimbabwean products in Australia. Even Woolworths has it. So that's where he bought it, and we just met by the port and we collected it.
Okay, so it wasn't served by the
packed and sealed.
It wasn't served by the cruise line. You all made it yourselves.
No, we made it ourselves. We asked for the chef to make it for us. Yeah.
So how many Zimbabweans are on the crew typically?
I can say plus minus 15. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we are all in different ships. Yes.
Okay. Because I've
Yes.
done quite a bit of cruising, and I've never met anyone that I knew was from Zimbabwe. So I'll put it that way. I might have encountered Zimbabweans and just didn't know it. To do what you did sounded like, that there are not many, but there are Zimbabweans who do that. Did you have any role models? Were you following in the footsteps of anyone you knew who had done this, or were you just doing this on your own?
Honestly speaking, I didn't have a role model, but what happened is when things with the work permits in South Africa started to change, I just tried to think of what else can I do, where else can I go in terms of looking for somewhere that I can be stable, not be worried about paperwork and everything, because there was a lot of transition changes going on in terms of the work permit legalities to stay in South Africa. So me and my sister-in-law, we started looking on internet for places to go. That's when the United Kingdom introduced the healthcare system, and my sister-in-law said no, she's gonna go to England, and I said no, I'm gonna try the cruise ships. So that's when I come across the advert for Azamara on LinkedIn, and I applied immediately, and I got an invite for the interview because Azamara journey was coming to Cape Town that time. That's where the interviews were conducted. So I really didn't have a role model, but it was through social network that you could hear people talking, oh, you can really migrate to this place, or you can try this one. It can work for you, or you might be lucky. That's how I came across for this cruise ship thing.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you, since you've been doing this, have you served as a role model for anyone else? Anyone that you know who's thinking about doing something similar?
Yes, I have. And I think I have 3 people now. The other 2 are on board right now. The other
Oh,
one is still doing the process, yes.
okay. So
Yeah, just
you
because of
inspired
sharing
them.
the information.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yes. Yes.
So how many sailings have you done for Azamara?
You mean sailings as in contracts all?
No, just cruises, just different. Like, what do you do? Like weekly cruises or 2 weeks?
Uh,
Or
uh, Sometimes my first contract, we had cruises for 7 days, 9 days, 21 days. That was the longest cruise that we had
uh-huh.
on my first contract. And on the second contract, all the cruises were like 14 days to 18 days, 12 days. So I think on this contract, I have done like 6 cruises, all in all, for the 4 months duration that I was on board.
hmm
And the first one, I did a lot because I was on board for 7 months.
Now, had you cruised before starting this position?
This was my first time to be on sea.
Wow. So what was that like for you?
It was quite I can say it was quite nerve-wracking because it was something new, and it was like one of my fears, being in the midst of water. You don't know where it's coming from, you don't know where it's gonna end, just in the middle of the field that is endless, and you don't even know how deep it is down there. And when you're sleeping, sometimes you don't even hear the splash of water, but you know you are in the water. So it took quite a lot of courage for me because I was facing my fears. But as time goes on, I get used to it. And also the seasickness, I didn't really suffer from it, because even now I just feel a little bit dizzy, and at times I had that throwing up and all that, but it's not that bad as I see it in others.
Pretty much are used to the water now. You don't have, Do you still have some anxiety, or you it's just something to do?
No, I'm okay. I just pretend as if I'm on land. That's it. I just leave. I am okay with everything now.
Well, when you do a port stop and you do come to land, do you typically get off the ship?
Yes, I do. I do get off the ship.
What are some places that you have really enjoyed
Um,
visiting?
my first place to really love going out was in New Zealand, in Napier. That was my first port when I first joined, January 2024. That was my first port of going out, of having a shore leave. That was Napier. I really enjoyed the scenery, everything, the environment, and the people around. And as time goes on, we went into Australia, Melbourne. I was out again. I went out again. And we proceed to Vietnam. I went out in Vietnam. There's this big market where everything, you can find everything. I was out again there in Vietnam. And also Da Nang in Vietnam again. I went out as well. In Singapore, I went out again. Most likely, most of the ports I went out just maybe for a walk or maybe for shopping or just to have a local food and do maybe little groceries and come back. Then
Uh-huh. So you're not
and Japan as well. And Japan as well. Last year it was the season for cherry blossom, so it was like every port I was going out in Japan. Every break, if I have 30 minutes, I just have to go out and catch fresh air.
so you are one of the obviously one of the benefits of your newfound career is you're seeing the world.
That's true. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I would love to get to Vietnam and would love to get to Japan.
You should try it. You should try it. The cherry blossom season is starting again now in Japan.
So so so
Yeah.
talk about coming to work for Azamara. I think you said you started in January of 24.
Yes.
What were those first days like as a new employee?
The first days it was really quite difficult for me because of the crew. We had different people from different countries, different continents, with different cultures, religions, and beliefs. So to be in that kind of environment as a newbie with no experience at all at sea, it was quite overwhelming for me and nerve-wracking. I want to say that because every time I had to think of going for a shift, I'm looking forward to learn new things. And speaking for myself, if I am in a place, I need to tell myself I'm gonna learn, and I have to put myself on a learning mode so that I can learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can, so that I cannot have problems with anyone who is around me. Of which, yes, English is the neutral language that we use, although we have different types of languages from people from different places, but English is the same. And I try to communicate as much clear as like others so that the next person will understand me.
Now, I take it uh, you share a room or do you have a room by yourself? Or how does that work?
No, we have shared cabins.
Shared cabins, okay.
Yes.
Pretty comfortable with your cabin mates?
I was very comfortable with my cabin mates. Yes. My first cabin mate was also a Zimbabwean. Then later on, I was sharing with a lady called, her name is called Widiantiri Nilu from Indonesia. She was quite a good person. We shared most of our time we spent together, and most of the things we do together. If she is going on shift and I'm starting a little bit late, she will make sure the time before, 5 minutes before my shift, she will call the cabin to see if I'm awake. I would do the same to her so that she won't be late also for shift. If I hear her alarm going off, I'll say, hey, your alarm is going off. Are you not supposed to be preparing for work now? That's how we were we were staying. And recently she joined the Azamara pursuit, and I only had like a month left. And I said, unfortunately, I can't request you to be my cabin mate because I'm soon going home. So, but anytime next time, if we have like 3 months together, I'll request you to be my cabin mate. I don't have a problem. Yes. And we were also in Bali when she was on vacation. She came to pick me by the port. We rode around. She said, "Oh, must I bring a car or a motorcycle?" I said, "No, I would like to ride on a motorcycle around town." Then she did that. We were like together for like 3 hours going around Bali. She took me to the beach. We went shopping, and it was quite a good experience with her.
Great, great. Now talk about your duties on board when you first started, and then I understand they you transitioned to a new area. So tell us about that.
Okay. When I joined as assistant waiter. Um, yeah, my duties was to be on the floor serving guests, make sure they have whatever they want, whether it's water or drinks. If they need assistance to fetch food from the line, I will assist them, because what's happening is on Azamara we have uh, three three dining rooms. We have the windows, that is a buffet area, and we have the one in deck 5. They call it the Discovery Restaurant. That is more like a formal dining room, and you don't have to book for that. You just walk in and you get seated on a table. It's also for a la carte menu. And windows is a buffet. The guests will just walk in and get whatever they want. That was where I was normally based for the first 3 months. I was working in windows, whether breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I was working there. And in Deck 10, we have the specialty restaurants, that is the Prime Sea and the Aqualina. So there, it's you have to book for a reservation, and you choose your time that you want to go there. And that restaurant, you have to pay additional amount. The food is not paid together with the package. You have to pay additional amount for that one.
Sure.
So yeah, so I was normally based for the first 3 months. I was based in Windows, and later on worked in specialty as a runner, assisting the waiters there, bringing the food to the tables, assisting the food, taking the food from the galley to the dining room. That's what I was doing, and I really enjoyed it because I was more like working alone there, not in a group of other assistant waiters. I was only having one partner that I was working with, but
Right.
I really loved it there because I was working alone with less supervision. I loved it because I knew what I need to do and when to do it.
Hmm.
So I really loved it there. And then my manager said, "No, it's high time now you go to the dining room. That is deck 5, the Discovery Restaurant." I said, "Okay, I will go there. I will try it." So I had to learn the way they set up the tables. And my duties as an assistant waiter, that is assisting the waiter to bring the food, the desserts, the menu, to be there for the water or drinks, whatever the guest requested. I was there as an assistant to my waiter. So I worked there. I really enjoyed it. Although in the dining room, you need to put a little bit more speed in whatever you do, because you might find sometimes in one night you have like 4 sittings in your sections, because it was given per sections. Every waiter and his assistant waiter have their own section, maybe with 6 tables, different sizes, maybe 4-seaters, 6-seaters, or 8-seaters. So you have to do everything in time, because sometimes the guests want to go for the show. So since it was more like a 4-course meal, you have to make sure they get everything until the dessert. So you need to be more organized and more time conscious, of which I managed to do that also. Yes.
And then things change. So I understand congratulations are in order. So talk about how you came to go from the culinary staff to uh, another part of the ship.
Um, What happened during the course of my first contract? This position was advertised like 3 times, and I think the first time I was 3 months on my first contract, and I went to the human resource that time and I asked, "Am I eligible to apply?" Then he said, "No, you have to complete your first contract." So I said, "Okay, fine. I will not lose hope." And when I was on 6 months, they posted again the position. He said, "No, if you were on vacation, yes, you were going to apply for the position, but just because now we take it as if your contract is not yet complete." Then I said, "Okay, I'll wait. I'll be patient." Now, the first week when I was on vacation, my friend, her name is Constance Dube, she sent me a message on WhatsApp saying, "Hey, your post has come up again. There is the application form. Apply for it, fill it, everything, and send it to me. I will go and submit it to the HR office." The moment I was busy responding to her, an email popped up from one of the HRs on board saying someone mentioned your name, saying you might be capable for this position. And okay, at that point, I start to wonder who might have mentioned my name. But she said, "Okay, you have to do this and that. Send me these documents." I did what she said. And that time I had to travel to go to see my mom in the countryside. So I had to make sure everything is order. I left. And after some days, she said, "Okay, when are you going back on board?" I said, "I'm going back on board 28 October. Then she said, "The moment you get on board, just go to the HR on board, show them my email. They will have to conduct more interviews regarding this position." Then I said, "Okay, fine." So when I went back on board, I stayed like 4 days. I was really still confused, lost in my own world. Second contract, new ship, different new people as well. So I was still trying to settle in. And then Constance said, "Hey, it's time now. You need to go to the HR. Did you go there?" Then I said, "No, I just passed there, but I didn't have the courage to go and see her." Then she said, "Hey, you have to go there." So I went there, and I see her. I show her the email. She said, "Oh, okay." She booked for the interview. I did the office interview first. Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint, graphs, and all that. I did that one. I think I scored 81% because I know why I got 81%. I was very lazy to do the graph because because there were also guys that were there and they were saying, "Hey, Presley, you can do it." So like the nerves were killing me. So I just said, I know what I have written. I have got it all right. I know myself. The graph, I'm just lazy. So I handed out the computer. I say, "I'm done." He did the marking and everything. So it was over. Then later in a day, she called my restaurant manager and say, "Hey, Presley needs to come and attend the interview with the Shoreside." That is the HR from Shoreside and the fleet financial manager. In 2 days' time. So I went for the interview that day. The interview was at 6, and 6:30 I was supposed to be in the dining room with the guests. And that cruise, we only had the same guests from day one of the cruise until that day. I think it was day 6, if I'm not mistaken. So we were having the same regular guests every day. So they now know the time I'm there. They know when I'm there. When they came, I'm there to see them, give them water, everything. And I know what they will order. So everything was on set. So that day they came there, they didn't see me. They asked my waiter. My waiter didn't know where I was. Only the restaurant manager knew where I was. So they waited for me. And when I went through the interview, we started talking. It was okay, but just because my nerves always work on me, and I know what I was answering, but looking at the expression of my interviewers, it was not really clear if I'm knowing what I'm doing or if I'm just answering the question. But then I said, "Okay, it's okay. Whatever the outcome, I'm willing to accept it." So
Right.
they asked me a question: "Have we ever passed through by the payroll office?" Then I said, "No, why should I do that? I just passed there to pay my bill and That's it. If I meet the payroll person, I just greet her as one of my fellow crew members. That's it. And I don't think I have any business to go to the payroll office. Then the gentleman said, I think it's high time you need to pass there and start asking questions. Then I say, with all due respect, I'll only start to do that when I know the verdict of my interview. I don't want to rush anything. So they say, okay, the interview is done. We'll let you know the outcome. So that night I went to the dining room. My guests were like waiting. What happened? Are you sick? What is going on? Because everyone seemed not to know where you were. Then I said, okay, calm down. It was like we were having like 5 tables. All of them, they were waiting patiently to listen. So I had to stand like in between and explain. Then I said, this is what is going on. I have applied for this certain position. So today was my interview. Then they said, oh my God, did you get it? Then I said, I don't know yet, but I hope by the end of this cruise, everyone will know where we stand. Then they say, oh, don't worry. Everything is going to go well. You don't have to worry. You have our full support. Then I said, thank you for the positive energy.
It sounded like you had gained the support of your guests.
Yeah, I honestly speaking, I had gained a lot of their support, and they really didn't have to, they never complained about the way they service. They always compliment the way me and my waiter was working. I was working with a gentleman from the Philippines. His name is Elvin Ching. So his name is Elvin and I'm Presley. So they used to call us El Presley. So so we were working like that. So they really never worried, because whenever the food is taking time to come, we apologize, we offer them drinks, and they were really happy because we know whatever they drink, so they don't have to ask for it. It's already readily available for them. So I have really gained a lot of support. And even in dining, even in windows, when they come for the buffet for lunch, they'll ask for me which section I'm working so that they can sit there. And it made it easy for me because I know what they want, so I don't have to run around. Or if maybe the previous night they will tell me tomorrow lunch will be there, so I'll make sure their drinks are ready waiting for them if they want to drink anything. So it made it easy for me. Other than having different guests every day, you need to try to memorize everything every time.
So when did you find out about the job?
It was after 3 days. I was just passing by because there was a paper that I wanted to collect. We call it the CBA, the Collective Bargain Agreement. It's more like it's full of what you need to know as a seafarer. What are your rights? What are you supposed to do? It entails everything that you need to know.
Right.
Yeah, so I was going to fetch that one because they say it was amended. There was a new version. So I wanted to get that one so that I can just go through it to know what is there and just read, because I like reading so much. So I was just passing by, and then the human resource on board said, hey, I was going to call your manager now. Can you please come to my office? Then when I went there, she handed me an envelope. I just put the envelope in my pocket. I said, thank you. I walked out. She said, no, you have to open it. I said, do you want me to open it now? She said, yes, you have to open it. Then I opened the envelope. And by the corner of the envelope, I just saw a congratulations.
Ah, great.
Then I put the envelope back. They said, what do you have to say? Then I say, I'm lost of words. I don't know what to say. But then I started to break down and I started crying. I started shedding tears. So, yeah. Then she said,
congratulations. I know you must have felt great.
yeah. So she said, read the whole thing. And she explained everything. It means now you are in the pipeline, more likely to be the waiting list. So whenever there is a post, or maybe there is a space for you, we just put you now in a waiting list. We'll let you know when we need you or when you need to start the job. I said, okay, I'm okay with everything. I know now I have got something to work on, and yeah, I'm very grateful. So I walked to my cabin, and then on my way to my cabin, I just said, no, man, let me tell my restaurant manager what's going on. I went with the envelope. I looked for him in his office. He was saying, are you not supposed to be on break? Then I said, yeah, I'm supposed to be on break. I was on my way to my cabin. That's when I got this. I just handed him the envelope in my head. Then he opened it. Then he said, oh, wow, congratulations. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to leave us now? Then I say, no, I'm not going to leave now. I'm told I'm on the pipeline, so I'm just going to wait when it's going to happen. Even if it's going to take 6 months or 1 year, I'll be waiting. Then he said, okay, for this, you deserve an off lunch. I'm giving you an off lunch. Go and relax or go ashore. I'll see you for dinner. Then I said, okay. That was around 11:30 that time. And I just went to the crew mess because I wanted to see someone there. And then I was in my clothes already, not in my uniform. That's when I saw the HR sitting. She said, come, let's have lunch. Then I said, no, I'm really not hungry. I just came to see someone. Then from there, I went to my cabin. I said to myself, I'm not going to go out. I'm just going to use this opportunity just to sleep because it was like, I think 10 days on board. So my body still need to adjust. The moment I'm still trying to gather my sleep, the cabin phone rang. Then I said, oh my God, who is calling this time? Don't they know that we are supposed to be on shift or what? And my manager knows that my supervisors and my manager, they know that I'm off. So who might be looking for me? Then when I left the phone, then she said, oh, I know that you are in your cabin. Can you please come to my office? It's the HR manager. And I said, what? What happened again? When I walked there, I was just in my tees and my shorts. And then she said, okay, this is what is going to happen. You're going to have to start now. Then I said, start what? Then she said, the job that you applied for, there's space for you now. You need to start now. Then I said, okay, just like that. Then she said, yeah, you have to start now. You're not going to go for dinner shift today. Then I said, okay, today is the last day of the cruise. Allow me to say goodbye to my guests. If it's okay, then I can start tomorrow morning. Then she said, okay, in between your shift, you have to go and collect uniforms because you are changing uniforms now. And she said, okay, I have already informed your manager and your supervisors to remove you from the shifts and from whatever the schedule and everything. Said she was just talking. I was really not, the words were just going through my mind, but everything was happening very fast. I couldn't process it that time. So when I left her office, I was really lost. I didn't even know what to do. And yeah, when I went to the ship for dinner, because it was my lunch off, when I went to the ship for dinner, the guest asked me, we have been waiting for the news for 2 days now. Any news? What happened? Then I said, okay, we got the job. In the afternoon, around 10, that's when I got the news. But the other thing is I have to start today. But I asked to start tomorrow since I wanted to share the news with you. And I wanted to say goodbye to you since it's your last day for the cruise as well. So we still have tonight together to say our goodbyes. And then tomorrow I'm going to start my new position. It's like the whole section was happy, making noise. The people all around the restaurant couldn't know what was going on. And yeah, but we shared that moment. That's when my waiter knew what was going on. Every time I was out, I was not at work. That's when he realized that I was gonna leave the restaurant to go to be the payroll officer. So
wow.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
I wish you had a video of that, saying goodbye to your guests. I mean, it's almost like they were a little bit of family, and
Yes,
they
yes.
treated you that way as well. That's a
Correct.
wonderful story. So you finished your contract as a payroll person.
Yes, because that time I was in Azamara Quest. So I did my first training for 9 days in Azamara Quest, and they transferred me to Azamara Pursuit because that's
Okay.
where someone was needed there. payroll person needed there. So I had to go to Azamara pursuit. That time, Quest was in Spain, and Azamara pursuit I was gonna join in Mauritius. So I had to travel all around to go to Mauritius.
So when you finish this leave, you'll be going to your ship as a payroll officer full time. What
Yes,
ship
yes,
will
yes.
that be?
It's Azamara onward.
Onward, okay. So now your
Yes.
role, are you considered an officer or a staff? How does all that work? How has your designation changed?
I'm now recognized as an marine officer with 2 stripes.
So you wear the white uniform.
Yes, I wear the white uniform, the white shirts with 2 stripes, with an emblem with 2 stripes. Yeah.
So what do those 2 stripes signify or enable? I should ask it this way. What does that enable you to do that you could not do as the culinary employee? What's that called? Crew?
Yeah, crew. Yeah, crew.
Okay. So what's different for you now as an officer versus crew?
To me, speaking for myself, it's just different. I just take it as a different position. I still see myself as crew, although the position has changed a little bit, because we call them what do they call? They call privileges. There's a little bit privileges with it. Now able to dine in the dining rooms, and yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that's mostly the different. And I have other privileges that the crew doesn't have. That is the different. But I see myself still as one of them. There's nothing changed to me.
Well, you said there's some other differences. You mentioned one was eating. Your work hours are longer. I'm sorry, shorter, or about the same, or what are the other differences?
We still work the same hours. It just depends on when you want to start and when you want to finish. But depending on operational needs, sometimes you'll be needed to do something and you have to be there. It's still the same hours, like everyone has to work 10
Uh-huh.
hours a day as per MLC. So I'm still working the same hours,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, the job has to be done.
So let's talk, Presley,
Yes.
about the future. You hadn't cruised prior to joining the company. Do you consider yourself now a traveler? Do you have plans to travel?
Yes, I have a lot that I need to plan, but I'm planning to take a cruise in the Caribbean, or maybe a vacation in the Caribbean. I'm planning to do that. That is probably next year, not this year, probably next year. I just need to make sure my finances are okay. I need that to be my first time traveling, and it's not a crew, but going for a vacation.
Great, great. You have a cruise or travel bucket list, a place that you want to get to one of these days that you've always thought about?
Yes, in my bucket list, my first place or holiday place that I wanted to be was Mauritius. But yes, I have been to be in Mauritius 2 times now. The first time I arrived in Mauritius when we were crossing with the Azamara journey from Asia to Europe. We had to take a stop at a port called I'm forgetting the name, but it's in Mauritius, and that was my first time to be there, and I felt so happy because it was in my bucket list for so long. So the next place that I want to be is in Miami, and yeah, I'm looking forward to be in Miami, just to walk on the beach of Miami. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then yeah, the Caribbean, I just want to go there and for a vacation. I don't want to go there in a rush, or maybe as a pot day at work. It will be okay, but I need to go there when I am on vacation.
Well, before we let you go, Presley, this has been a wonderful conversation, and it's not only great to view crew life through your eyes, but to also view through your eyes a transition from uh, you know crew to officer. Even though you like to say you still consider yourself as crew. But before we let you go, we usually ask our guests some light or fun cruise questions, or not necessarily cruise questions, but some light or fun questions. So the first one is, what do you do in your me time? Do you have any hobbies? Anything you like to do when you're not working at sea?
On my me time, I have fallen in love with the gym because when you are on board, you tend to feel like you are in your own place, you isolated, and sometimes you don't feel like talking to anyone, or you think maybe people won't listen to you because they are busy with their lives. So I have resorted to go to the gym. That's where I spend most of my time with. If I feel anxious, overwhelmed, I go and work it out, sweat it out, and then I've come out there as a new person with a new, different way of seeing things. If I was angry, I'll come out there as a new person. And the most thing that I have ever loved in my life, I love shopping. I love shopping. So if I am at port, I would love, if sometimes I can call it window shopping just to look at things.
Okay. Second question. What's your favorite cruise drink and cruise food?
Okay, my favorite. I'm gonna start with the food because
Okay.
for my favorite food is when we have the Indian cuisine, the biryani.
Okay.
That's when I really enjoy the food. Not that I don't enjoy the food. I do enjoy, but that's the food that I really like to eat because most of the time I don't really like to eat rice because it's too much starch, I think. And I know with my body, if I eat too much starch, I gain weight easily. So I try to avoid as much starch as I can. And
Okay.
my favorite drink is coffee because it keeps me awake most of the time. And I like it strong, 3 shots of espresso with um, mixed together with cappuccino. That's my drink.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The next question, and it doesn't have to be all of these, but one of these.
Okay.
What would you consider your most wonderful or memorable or funniest or even most embarrassing cruise or port experience?
Okay, but I don't know if it's gonna be embarrassing, but it was quite funny. We were in Japan, Kobe. So me and my fellow Zimbabwean, his name is Tatenda, we went out and there was no shuttle. The shuttle had already left. So we decided to go with the train. So I didn't have my bank card with me. I had left it inside the ship and he had his. So he said, okay, let me try to tap in. Then I will see how it goes. So when the moment he just stepped to the small gates, it quickly blocked him so that he doesn't pass through. Then he said, oh my God, this is too fast. Then he tapped his card, it opened for him, he went to the other side. So when he was on the other side, he couldn't see where to tap out now so that he can come out to the side there where I was. So he was on the other side of the train station. I was still outside and I couldn't go in because I didn't have my bank card with me. So all we want was him to come out so that we find other option, either to do Uber or to wait for the next shuttle. So it took us like 5 minutes for him trying to see where to really tap because of the language. Of course, it was not written, indicated in English, it was in Japanese. So he was just moving his card around the the pillars or wherever he can think it can tap. Suddenly it just opened and all of us, we fell down, we started laughing, and I was like, where did you tap so that you can come out? He said, I don't even know how it happened, but I thank God I'm on the other side now. So that was the most funniest thing that happened. It happened in Japan.
So you guys didn't take the Japanese subway system.
No, we didn't use the train that day. We waited for the shuttle because we wanted to go somewhere close, of which we had options also to take the train, but because I didn't have my card with me, we couldn't take the train.
Okay, because I know when I do get a chance to go to Japan, I want to test out all of those things. Like, they have this bullet train and so many technological advancements.
There is a lot of technological advancement, and that was one of the things. The way that those gates quickly responded to movement, it's within a blink of an eye. It can sense that someone is close by, it quickly closes.
Yep.
So I was just laughing at myself. I said, oh my God, this is too fast. This is too fast. And within a blink of an eye, it opens for you if you tap the right card.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But last contract, I did take a bullet train, the same port, but it was different. We were docking on the other side. We take a train from Kobe station until a station called I'm forgetting the name, but it's the famous port, the famous spot in Kobe.
So
yeah, that's where we went with a train and come back with a train again.
what was the bullet train like?
It was very fast. Before we knew it, we were just still sitting, and it's now telling you the station name, and we had to jump off because we had already arrived. It was very fast. Very, very fast.
Okay. Yeah. The last question, I call this an oddball question. Oddball in that it doesn't have to relate to cruising. So first of all, I want to say welcome to your friends who are listening. We hope your friends and fans have enjoyed what they have heard at the Joy of Cruising podcast, and will come back for future episodes or follow us on IG or join our Facebook group. Presley, so that your friends can know you just a little bit better, share one thing that my listeners and your friends don't know about Presley.
What they don't know about me. That's quite a typical one because I am quite an open book. But what they don't know about me is they always see me happy. But I also have my down moments sometimes, in as much as I try to avoid anyone to see me in my down moment because I'll be really miserable. So that's what they don't know me. They always see me as someone who is happy and easy to approach. But yeah, I am someone who can have a down moment sometimes.
You can hide your feelings. Well,
yes.
It's good that you're able to present yourself a certain way all the time. I need to work on that for myself. So, but I
good luck with that one.
I admire that you're able to do that. Presley, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the Joy Cruising podcast. All the best to you in your future at Azamara. I believe, from what I know about you in this short amount of time, that it is a promising one, and maybe we'll have you back when something major changes in your cruising life.
Okay, I would love to.
So as I like to say, oh well, great, thank you. As I like to say, we'll see you on the ocean.
Of course. Before you go, Paul, I just want to say a shout out to a few people here.
Sure.
My colleagues. Yeah, I just want to start with my HR manager, Samia Anderson, and my hotel director, the one who helped me with the article for Condé Nast Traveler, Navira Fleet, and also Kevin Jugal. He is the print manager on board Azamara Pursuit right now. Andrea Salta, he's the crew admin. Portia Chuma, she is a nail technician. Rizad Guzman, he's the hotel director. Currently, he's on vacation. Constance Dube, she is the sommelier. Ivy Vede Blanco, she's the HR specialist. Daryl Cabanera, he is Payroll Pesa. Abigail Kelvin, she used to be my cabin mate. Brenda, she's my fellow Zimbabwean, and Chantel, as well as Yonela. And lastly but not least, I want to say hi, shout out to O'Dane Reynolds. So these are the people that were always around me. Not only them, but I mean all the crew. They have been making my contract very easy, and it has been a pleasure working with all of them, not including the master of the vessel and all the officers that I haven't mentioned by name. And it's just been a pleasure working on Azamara cruises, and I hope to see you on one of the cruises on Azamara ships.
I will make sure that if I plan a cruise on Azamara, which I do plan to do because I hear a lot about it, and that's just one I haven't done yet, I will make sure well in advance I reach out to you. Thank you for shouting those folks out. Shortly before your episode airs, I'll send you a link and you can share it with some of them. And so, for my part, I'm going to shout them out. Thank you all for supporting Presley. Particularly, thank you to the person or the people who helped Presley with the Condé Nast Travel article, because that's what enabled me to discover Presley. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon, Presley.
Thank you so much, Paul. Take care. Bye.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again for $18.99, can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.